Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Adam Thompson has, for weeks, been the example of what it takes to show up and execute on any given racetrack and in any given race car, and then do it all again next time. 7 wins, 15 races, and if he wins again tonight, he makes it 1 win for each loss this season. It would be 8 for 8, and that is incredible. For the one final time in a 16-race season, welcome to the Cross Series League Racing on PitStop TV. Andrew Cardona IV with Hayes Booth alongside Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media coverage this evening. We welcome you once again to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter coverage as we get set to go racing in the final round of Cross Series League Racing. We joined these guys way back in race number 7 at Lima Land not so long ago, but also quite a long time ago, and the man of the evening is getting warmed up for the final home stretch of the finish line on an incredible season. I mentioned Lima Land because way back when we started with these guys in race 6 or race 7 with just a few rounds left in the dirt oval category of their season, guess who won that one? It was Adam Thompson way back when. And we've said that name a whole lot. Adam Thompson, Adam Thompson, Adam Thompson, Adam Thompson. Again, 7 wins on the season, and it's only just been recently that he's hit this little bit of a slump. It's been a few races since he's won. It's been a little bit since we've really seen him in championship form, but he has held the points where he's needed them. And Hayes, before we go any further, let's take a look at these point standings coming into the final race of the season. After 15 of 16, he's got 2 races back to Mike Sorum in second place.
Right. You know, like you said, we've talked about him pretty much the entire season. I mean, he's just been dominating this season. I mean, 7 wins so far, and, looking to potentially make it 8 tonight to cap off the season, 62-point lead. So I think it's safe to say he's got this championship with Mike Sorum there in second place, looking to keep that. He's just got a 9-point gap, though, or 11-point gap, excuse me, to Robert Schwenkler there in the 3rd position. Then we have Jerry DiPiero there in 4th, James Truitt in 5th, 118 back. That's going to be an interesting battle for the 4th spot in the standings. And then a little further back from James Truitt, we have Tyler Coates there in 6th, Jimmy Howitt there in 7th, and just 5 points behind him, we could have a battle for 7th in the standings between James and Lucas Fenko. In fact, it could be a 3-way battle. We have Chet Duranik there in the number 420 in 9th. They're just 1 point behind Lucas. And Bobby Ross going to round out the top 10.
You know that song "Real Gone" by Sheryl Crow that was used in Cars at the beginning? Yeah, that's been Adam Thompson for a very, very long time. That said, Mike Sorum still has company. You mentioned it. Robert Schwenkler is 9 points back, and James Truitt's only 8 points back of Jerry DiPiero. Those top 5, they all got a win on a season now, with Mike Sorum recently getting a Rallycross win. James Truitt won in the Miatas at Lime Rock, and Robert Schwenkler won last week at Summit Point. So a lot's changing up. Still a whole lot to be decided this evening. I'd say Tyler Coates is pretty comfortable in the 6th position. Jimmy Howitt could still lose 7th. A whole lot could still happen lower down. Let's check out the racetrack we're at this evening. You can see in the background we're at the virtual WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. The famous 11-turn course that was modified in the 80s to look as it does now. The Andretti hairpin begins the lap after a nice little bend up over the crest for turn 1. Turn 3 brings you into what kind of almost feels like an infield section. Turn 3, 4, and into turn 5. They're pretty technical corners. You've got to get them just right. You've got to make sure you're in the right gear, especially with the cars that we'll talk about here in a moment that these drivers are in this evening. Turn 5 turns you back under a bridge and over a crest towards turn 6. Got to watch the turtle on the inside, the anti-cut box down there, up the Ray Hall straight and up to the corkscrew. And if you think the text is tight around in there with turn 7, turn 8A, turn 8B, it's a lot tighter on the racetrack. You head down the rainy curve, turn 9 to turn 10, and again, things get very technical, very one line for the most part, but you can go side by side, you can swap some positions, maybe even trade a little paint in those final couple of corners, and that's what makes Laguna Seca so fantastic as a racing circuit. 2.238 miles, 3.6 kilometers, and I mentioned the cars we've got this evening. Let's take a look at them. This is the first time I'm having this kind of experience with the SCCA Spec Racer Fords. I've never seen a broadcast with these cars before, but we're going to see how it goes this evening. If you don't know much about them, well, I don't think really anybody does. They're just fantastic little spec racers. literally by the name, that you see SCCA events. And I mean, these cars are actually still relevant. These get used in real racing still as you work up the road racing ladder, and they're going to be updated, in fact, in the June build here on iRacing. We're only a couple of weeks away from it. Can you believe that? From the June build on iRacing, they are going to get a big update. They're going to get overhauled with a new sequential transmission. A lot is going on for these little race cars, and it's cool to see them this evening in our final race of the season.
Right. You know, I've never. This is going to be my first experience in general with these cars. I've never driven them, never watched a race with them, nothing. So, really, I couldn't tell you, how these things drive and how fast they are, really. But I am, this is going to be a new experience for me. So I'm pretty excited to see how this race goes, see how the racing is with these cars, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what these drivers are able to do, see who's fastest with them.
Now, it's a two-frame chassis built by SCCA. It's a 105 horsepower, 1.9-liter fuel-injected 8-valve, 4-cylinder engine. That was a lot. It's a very straightforward little race car. It kind of looks a little bit like a prototype. It drives like maybe a kart, if you could kind of equate it to maybe just an oversized and overweight kart. It is only 1,600 pounds, about 1,700 pounds right in there. Top speed of about 135 miles an hour. It's got a 4 or 5 speed in it, but that is a H pattern, 5-speed for now. It'll be a sequential here soon. I believe we have like the 4th iteration, pretty much, basically Gen 4 of this car on the sim, and basically Gen 5 is coming along this year, and that will be included in the June build. Ashley Molyneux, brand new to the series, she's on the racetrack and actually just came across the line to complete her qualifying lap. We are into qualifying, and so along with it, let's take a look at qualifying time so far. Robert Schwinkler, no surprise, up top so far. But these little cars, they are tough to drive. They've got Goodyear Eagle Racing almost slicks. They've got a couple of grooves, much like the old F1 tires in the earlier 2000s. But realistically, they are Goodyear Eagle Racing slicks. But they're tiny, both in terms of radius and in terms of track width. They are tiny little tires. They don't provide a whole lot of traction. And quite honestly, you've got to drive these cars absolutely just right, or you will go flying off the edge, figuratively and literally.
Right, and that's one of the it's one of the toughest things about road course racing. No matter what car you're in, really, it's one of the toughest forms of racing that you can be a part of. So that whoever wins the race, had to work hard to do it. So I think that's another thing that we can look forward to is definitely a deserving winner out of this race. And so far, Robert Schwinkler, top of the board right now by almost half a second over Ashley Molyneux, with just 30 seconds left. He's looking really fast right now with DiPiero there in 3rd, Lopez 4th, and Sorum rounding out the top 5 so far.
Some new names on that list. We'll talk more about them here in a few moments, but for right now, we want to go ahead and spotlight the people who make these broadcasts possible, specifically with Cross Series League Racing, of course, Nexus Fab, Tamalpais Tanning, Dangerous, Allied Esports Racing Series, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, Baker Steel Detailing, Acer Engine Supply, and Lake Town Creations. We'll get some more about each of them as the night goes on. Of course, a big shout out to our partners as well here at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art, Raise Pay Setups, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, and BAM Racing Videos. We head now into a 10-minute warm-up session. This will be a nice little chance for us to kind of see how these cars and drivers will work with one another. And I do got to say, I am looking for this 244, I think, to cope pretty well with these cars. Now, these guys, they practice a lot throughout the week. They get a lot of laps in together. And you always kind of see somebody tends to set themselves apart as the early favorite, but for some reason Adam Thompson always just jumps right back up to him. He joins the racetrack, and actually he'll work down the pit exit right here behind somebody. Can't quite tell who that is. Of course, one of the challenges with being Cross Series League Racing is the changing cars, the changing paint schemes, and it's sometimes hard to get a grasp on who's who, but that was Jimmy Howitt in front of him in the 37. On board here with Thompson as he makes his way onto the speedway. You can get a feel for how touchy these cars are.
Things that Adam Thompson talked about, I believe it was after the USA race with the 360 sprints. He was talking about how he's not too confident about these road course races. Or actually, no, I believe it might have been It might have been before the race. I can't remember, but just whenever it was, he mentioned not being confident about a certain car, at certain tracks. But it just seems like every race, he's a guy to look out for. He's a guy to, watch for, to put up a good performance. And it just seems like with every track, every, car that we've had, every change that has been made this season, he's just been able to work with.
And he's going to loop it on the exit of the corkscrew. That's how tough these little cars are, especially here at Laguna Seca. When you come through the compression in 8B, the bottom of the corkscrew, it's going to want to spin around on you. You've got to be very, very careful. And look at that, Jaden Darling spins going into the corkscrew, so that's how tough it is here. But while these guys get a little more accustomed to the racetrack and the race car, I think more accurately, I do want to tell you guys real quickly about Nexus Fab and Dangerous. Now, Nexus Fab has been around since the beginning, pretty much, here with Cross Series League Racing, and they provide custom medical, I always do that. I always say medical for some reason. They provide custom metal fabrication and manufacturing for commercial projects, residential projects, custom projects, signs, furniture, repair work, and more. And Dangerous is a top 3D visualization firm specializing in high-quality 3D product, CAD, package rendering services, and photorealistic product visuals. They specialize in automotive subjects specifically and have extensive industrial and consumer product design experience. Let them help you visualize, promote, and communicate your designs. Visit their website at www.dangerous.net. And while warm-up continues on, we're going to step aside for just one moment with a quick message from Dangerous. Welcome back to the Virtual WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, and thanks Dangerous for that quick message. And Matthias Corvino, brand new driver to the series, is currently first in this little warm-up session. You see his number 23 out of, I believe I saw Brazil or Argentina. It was one of the two. I believe it would say Brazil, wouldn't it? So I'm going to say Argentina, I believe, is his nationality that I saw in the Discord chat. So a brand new driver joining in for the final race of the season. He expects to do the full Season 2 campaign here soon. So good to see some of these new guys jumping in and, well, going fast here in this warm-up session, about halfway through, and Matthias goes to the top of the board. Another new driver that I saw in the field, and I think one of the only others, is going to be Ashley Molyneux as she crests the hill. And I mentioned her a little while ago. Ashley Molyneux, longtime driver in the Norg iRacing series, coming over, making the switch. Well, not really the switch, but adding this to her weekly set of races. And she's got plenty of experience on the oval side and the road side. I expect Ashley to be pretty formidable in the championship overall.
Yeah, she's definitely, she's said in the past, she's really starting to love these road courses, and she's fast on them too. And I believe we saw that she qualified second, so right off the bat, showing good pace here. Definitely want to look for her to be one of the fast ones here tonight. And if she comes back next season, definitely think she's going to be a threat.
Absolutely. So as we work a little further into this little kind of happy hour session, if you will, of course, NASCAR used to have practice and qualifying in every race weekend, and they would often have a 1 hour session at the back end of the weekend, but likely the day before the race, on a Saturday afternoon. That was their happy hour. This kind of feels like it with this warm-up session. I like this warm-up right before the race, right after qualifying. But Robert Schwenkler currently second place in this session. Let's take a look at the standings, actually, as we work through. Just 4 minutes to go. You see Corvino there, still leading the way by over a half second to Robert Schwenkler, so much different from qualifying. Schwenkler sitting in second, Bobby Ross third, Jerry DiPiero in fourth, and Scott Benavidez fifth so far.
Yep, and then you can see there, actually, no, now Darling takes the fifth position from Benavidez. Still about 4 seconds off of that fast time. Here with about 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Corvino showing a good pace here. Robert Schwenkler currently second fastest right there, half a second back. As we're riding on board here with Jaden Darling as he heads through, I believe, the fourth turn of the racetrack, coming down here under the Firestone sign. And you can see, riding on board, I'd say this is a pretty good view right behind the driver. And that just shows it right there, like you were saying. I mean, it can be hard to hold on to the grip with these race cars. It's really easy to run off the track in cars like these and, at tracks like this, as we are now riding along with Jerry DiPiero. He's coming around the second to last turn, which really is a turn. You can see squirrels a little bit right there. This is kind of a turn that you don't have to brake completely, but, depending on what car you're driving, you really have to take that one careful, and especially down here in the final turn. That can be definitely one easy corner to mess up.
Turns 10 and 11, like I said earlier, very, very technical. Some of the more fine line driving corners that you're going to approach this afternoon at the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Adam Thompson, 27 seconds off of pace. I'd have to imagine that was kind of a spoof of an opening lap. I think we did see him spin, of course, so although that was earlier on in the session, who knows what's gone on for him. But we saw Jaden Darling out there, and while we have a moment here towards the back end of our warm-up session, let's quickly highlight, I believe an organization that he is involved with in Tamalpais Tanning, and they are located in Corte Madera, California, from what I can tell. They've got full-spectrum UV treatments and custom organic sugar-based DHA airbrush solutions. They're the only salon in the U.S. to offer these services. Red light therapy and blue light therapy beds also available with a doctor's recommendation. And along with Tamalpais Tanning, we also want to give a big shout out to Acer Engine Supply. For over 30 years, Acer Engine Supply has been rebuilding and restoring engines of all shapes and sizes in the Colorado Springs area. Today, their attention to detail and commitment to customers remains unchanged. From restoring an old classic to getting your daily driver running again, Acer Engine Supply will get you back on the road. Visit them at acerengines.com. And we can also mention that Baker Steel Detailing LLC provides custom shop drawings for fabricators. They specialize in miscellaneous metals, structural steel, and ornamental metals. Boy, they might want to work on that 81 car after that big hit in turn 5, because that was a big one. And you know what? I think that was intentional. I think that was likely out of some frustration there from Jaden Darling, maybe just giving up, throwing the car into the wall like we see so many sim racers do. But we could see that kind of an incident this evening. We absolutely could see somebody just get out of control and go careening off into the gravel.
I definitely think that's, one of the things we're probably going to see. Like we were saying, it can be really easy to make mistakes in cars like these and at tracks like these. I've made my fair share of mistakes at road courses, no matter what car I've been in. So definitely, can happen to the best drivers, and it can really shake up a race when it does. So that's something that's definitely going to be a thing to watch out for in this race. You can see Adam Thompson right there, 8th on the board, like we were saying. Just, same situation as with a lot of other cars that we've had throughout the season. Just seems to kind of click with him. He's showing some top 10 pace right now.
Yes, sir. We also saw Diego Lopez briefly go to second place in that number 9 car, only a 10th back of Matthias Corvino. I don't recall if they're teammates or not, or they're both brand new. And I know that Matthias brought a couple of other friends into the server, so that could have been one that he did bring in. But it's good to see some new names around, and they're going to give these other guys that have been running the series here a run for their money this evening, so that's pretty cool as well. So a lot to be watching for this evening as you join us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We're so glad that you're doing so here on PitStop TV for coverage of Cross Series League Racing in their final round of Season 1, this time at WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Let's take a run through our starting grid this evening, somewhere around, I want to say, 15, 16, something like that cars. Let's go through the top 10. Starting first this evening, Robert Schwenkler in that 235, hot off of a race win last week in the Miatas at Summit Point. Then Ashley Molyneux, newcomer. She will start on Robert Schwenkler's outside. Rather, starting third this evening, you're going to find the 17 car of Jerry DiPiero. And look at that, newcomer Diego Lopez will roll off fourth. Starting fifth this evening, you'll have Mike Sorman, the 69 winner at Phoenix in the Rallycross cars not so long ago, with James Truitt to his outside. Starting seventh place this evening, Matthias Corvino in that number 23 brand new driver, along with Bobby Ross in eighth. The back row of the top 10, though, you'll find Scott Benavidez and Jaden Darling.
Here we go, starting P11. We have Chet Duranic in number 420 there in the 11th position. To his outside, we have Labi Laurel starting in 12th. And then in 13th, we have Tyler Coates there in the 407 to his outside. In 14th, Jimmy Howitt in the number 37. Rounding out the top 15 will be Adam Thompson, and to his outside in 16th is Danny Chandler in the number 13 machine, and I believe that will round out the field. Yes, it will.
Look at that, 15-16. That was a complete guess, and it was spot on as these guys get rolling off of the grid this afternoon, this evening, no matter where you're watching from. Again, so glad that you're doing so here on PitStop TV. A lot of partners, we've been talking about a lot of them so far this evening. A lot of partners are going to making these broadcasts possible with Cross Series League Racing. A couple more of them would be Lake Town Creations that custom builds heartfelt creations using wood and other materials. Family owned and operated, they can turn your division into reality. And now this one isn't necessarily a partner, but we've listed it on here after a donation made by league member Chet Duranick in their name. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, a nonprofit, volunteer-fueled organization dedicated to finding cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and improving the quality of life of children and adults affected by these diseases. Donate at www.crohnscolitisfoundation.org. And we, of course, cannot forget Allied Esports, running Wednesday through Friday. Allied Esports hosts a trio of series on some of America's best short tracks, paved and dirt alike. Find Allied Esports on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/Allied Esports Racing Series. With that all said and done, 16 cars ready to go for some 22 laps this evening at Laguna Seca. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Hayes, who you got?
I don't know, man. I really feel like it could be anybody. I mean, like we've said, it's so easy to make mistakes that even the fastest guy can screw it up. So I think, could be, the pole sitter, could be whoever's starting last. I mean, any of these guys I could see winning this race. But to be honest, if I have to pick one person, I'd have to go for Ashley Molyneux, starting second there on the front row with the road course experience and how good she is on these road courses. I definitely think she's going to be the one to watch.
Well, we're about to find out, who's going to walk away with this one after 22 laps this evening. We'll see. Robert Schwenkler leads us to the green flag. Ashley Molyneux on the outside. Paul DiPiero third. Diego Lopez in fourth. The green flag waves, and we are green flag racing from Laguna Seca. Already one car off. Molyneux blocks Diego Lopez into the dirt, but they keep on racing and down to the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Molyneux lunges a little bit, right in behind Schwenkler, a wide apex, and Schwenkler just drives away.
And here they come down. Ashley Molyneux trying to get to the back bumper of Schwenkler, looking to make a move, see if she can't get to the lead here early on. Schwenkler so far doing a good job managing his corners, hitting the apex, doing a good job exiting. As now we see a battle further back here with the number 9. I believe this is for the 4th position, going to get clear in that beautiful looking Lightning McQueen car.
Yeah, this is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and more as they battle now through turn number 5. One around, and that is going to be, is it Jaden Darling? It is. The California native off in turn number 5, but we continue on up the Rahal Straight. And we've got a battle for the race lead. Ashley Molyneux takes the draft to the outside and up into the corkscrew. Can she complete the pass? No, not quite. The brake lights light up red. Jerry DiPiero lunges. They go nose to tail through the corkscrew for the first time.
Yeah, Jerry tried taking a shot at it there through the corkscrew, just couldn't quite make it work. As we ride on board with him, he's kind of, if I'm him, I'm kind of looking to hang back here a little bit, just let these two battle it out. Don't want to risk getting taken out too early on. As we come around here through turn 11 to complete lap number 1, it looks like Robert Schwenkler's going to take it. Ashley Molyneux still close behind him.
Lap 1 is complete of 22. This evening at WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Love this racetrack. Look at everybody come flying by the starting line. And we did have one driver not take the start. That was Danny Chandler. Tyler Coates looks like also had some problems here on lap number 1. You see his black and purple 407 back here in the 15th spot. But the leaders, they have not separated. Ashley Molyneux, brand new to the series, is bringing it to Robert Schwenkler this evening. And Ashley was in the chat last week at Summit Point talking about how troublesome those cars can be. I can only imagine what she's up against as she continues to battle with Schwenkler. And these cars are challenging, and they are really going at it in the early goings.
And how about Adam Thompson? Started 15th and is already up into the 10th position, just 1 lap complete, already making up 5 spots, doing a good job moving up in the early stages of this race. Now he's looking to catch Scott Benavidez for that 9th position, looking to continue that pace.
But you can see there's damage on his left front as he comes into turn 6
yeah,
now. It looks like maybe he caught the anti-cut right there the last time through, possibly. He's got a little bit of right rear damage, possibly, as well. So working against him currently, but look at this, a little bit more separation this time for Schwenkler. Now, these cars could get a little bit drafty, much like Miata's do, and we can see this battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th shaping up as Matthias Corvino and Diego Lopez put all kinds of pressure on Jerry DiPiero. Nose to tail, 3, 4, 5 through turn 10. Matthias looks high, Diego looks low. Jerry outbreaks them both and holds on to the spot for now.
Oh man, it is a tight battle so far here for the 4th position, or no, 3rd actually.
Oh, that was a bad shift though.
Oh yeah, it was. He got a good run by Lopez, looking to get clear of him for that 3rd position. Now here comes Ashley Molyneux around the outside of Robert Schwenkler. Tried to make the move, just couldn't quite accomplish it there. She's going to have another chance here. She looks to the outside once again. Man, she is right there, just can't quite complete the pass.
And you can see in the background, Diego takes 3rd spot over Jerry DiPiero, who now hangs on to 4th over Corvino. But Ashley Molyneux trying every trick in the book so far, but it's not working up against the dangerous driver in the 235. Oh, Robert Schwenkler even blocks a little bit into 5. Does he move over? No, he allows the room for Ashley Molyneux. That is road racing etiquette at its finest. Molyneux couldn't do anything on the outside, and that's why you defend.
Yep, definitely. We saw him throw a tough block there a couple of corners ago, and definitely doing a good job holding on to his lead so far. As we're now just on lap 3 of 22. Now actually taking another peek. Really tight there into the corkscrew. Trying again here at taking the lead. She is really putting a lot of pressure on Schwenkler right now.
Still trying every which way, trying to get by Schwenkler right here. Problem for Larill, that's why he's not listed first. Oh, Ashley gonna go up the outside of turn 10. Can she make it stick? Maybe, side by side towards the final corner now. And Molyneux has got the inside for 11, and she's gonna use it to her advantage. Schwenkler can't hang. How about that for a pass? Meanwhile, you see Matthias Corvino work on by Jerry DiPiero for the 4th position. Fantastic racing, and here comes Mike Sorum.
Great move by Ashley there through turn 10. Used the outside to her advantage. Got a great run and was able to make it stick in turn 11. Now she is your new leader. A little bit of a lockup there out of Schwenkler as he tried to make another move. He's going to try to fight back at Ashley, but don't look now. Here comes Lopez.
Here comes everybody as one driver's turned around. That's James Truitt in the Andretti hairpin. We continue on with these leaders, though, as Schwenkler now has got to try and regroup and get back after that 45 car. You see the train, though, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th on back. These guys are all on the line all the way back to Jerry DiPiero now, who has fallen back into 6th spot. And Jerry's a fantastic little road racer, got a lot of skill, but I think this car is starting to catch him out and show that it's tough. It is very tough to just go back-to-back, switching up cars every week or every couple of weeks even. It's tough to keep up with it.
Yeah, and that's really one of the most challenging things about this league is how much they switch and just how much these drivers, the little time they have to get used to these cars. That's what makes it, one of the most challenging things I would imagine out of this entire league. But, like we said, Ashley Molyneux, I even said early on, she's going to be one of the ones to watch, and just her first start in the league is pulling away with the lead over one of the regulars in the series. Robert and there's the number 9 going around. Hard impact.
Sorum.
Oh, man, hard impact with the barrier for Sorum. Oh, man, I don't know if Lopez just got turned or I don't know what happened there.
There was contact. Matthias Corvino got into that 9 car of Diego Lopez, and this is all in turn 10. So this was initially heading down the rainy curve, and we'll see how it all kind of happens. This is turn 9. The 9 car a bit slower. You see the run from Matthias Corvino and just contact into the braking zone that turns the 9 car around, and Sorum's got nowhere to go. But you know what? Sorum hitting the 9 car off like that is the only reason Jerry DiPiero had anywhere to go. So one driver's loss is another driver's gain. Yep,
that's usually how it goes here. So both a benefit and an absolute loss for two drivers here. Mike Sorum, like we said, we're riding on board with him right now. Let's take a look here, entering turn 10, and you can just see this happens right ahead, and he expects the 9 to maybe stay low. He just tries and just nowhere to go. Hard hit with that barrier, and I think that's going to be it for his race.
He's actually continuing on. He's got a lot of body damage, but even though these little cars, they look kind of like mini prototypes, they can take a beating apparently. He's driving pretty well straight despite all of that left side damage on the Pink Panther. But he's continuing on. He's soldiering through it. I like that out of Mike Sorum. And that's what we've seen out of a lot of these drivers all season long, is they just continue to soldier on no matter the circumstances. Back up at the race lead, you see the 45 car still leading. That's Ashley Molyneux into turn 11. And these top two starting to walk away.
Yeah, I tell you what, they have really pulled away from the field. Over 5 seconds is the gap that they have over Jerry DiPiero now as we begin lap number 6 here at Laguna Seca. And, really, Schwenkler's not letting Ashley drive away. He's still within distance. So, really just it's going to depend on the long run to see if Ashley's able to drive away or if Schwenkler is able to take that lead back. But I tell you what, right now he's doing a good job maintaining a gap of less than half a second.
You saw Corvino go purple that time. Corvino has settled into the 5th position, a little ways back of Bobby Ross. We'll check up on that battle once it formulates, but we're still watching this lead pair. I can tell you Jaden Darling might have a battle soon with Chet Duranick. That would be for 5th if it does kind of start to form up. And Jimmy Howard is chasing Diego Lopez after a spin and a pit stop. Robbie Larrill still parked out after his incident, and Danny Chandler never made the start. Schwenkler kind of bobs and weaves between 5 and 6 right there. I'm not sure if he was just looking for air, maybe looking for a brake mark or something, just trying to see past that 45 car. But obviously he's way too far back even to show the nose to try and cause an incident. And that's something you always want to do if you're the approaching cars. You want to show the nose, absolutely. Intimidate that driver a little bit, make them think you're going to go for a move, and maybe outbrake themselves when you're not planning to. I think that's certainly a big part of road racing, racecraft. That comes with time. And there's that little mistake from Molyneux. Molyneux catches the anti-cut turtle on the inside, gives up some time, and Schwenkler's a whole lot closer.
Yeah, but it's little mistakes like that can really cost you. But luckily, she was able to hang on there, maintain pace here. So we have looks like 16 laps remaining. Not a particularly long race that we have here, just 22 laps, which isn't that long at this racetrack. But, you can see, Schwenkler kind of got a little squirrely there in the Andretti corner. So you can see heading down here into turn number 4. Oh, and we have problems with James Stewart. He is taking it to pit road.
James Stewart problems, you mentioned. He's in the pit lane. Don't know if this is scheduled or not, but he's got a lot of damage. There's Mike Sorum in the pit lane as well after his incident. He takes a fast repair and should rejoin the field here soon. The lead is actually starting to separate, and Bobby Ross has been passed up by Matthias Corvino. You can see that beautiful white and green 23 car ahead of him, and actually this has happened on this lap. What do you say we take a look back at it and find out what's gone on in this little battle and how this pass was made? It happened between the start-finish line and turn 2, it looks like, in the Andretti hairpin. There's Matthias Corvino behind Bobby Ross, and let's see how it happens. Oh, he looked at the inside there through the start-finish line under that bridge, and technically not quite turn 1. That would be turn 1 there, that little bend. And then does he just go up the inside? Yeah, just laid on the brakes, and Bobby gave it to him. Yeah. That was smart. That was heads up from Bobby. That was a little aggressive from Matthias, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man, aggressive move there into turn number 2. Yeah, definitely good job, keeping it clean, not making any contact, causing a wreck or anything. So both drivers are going to keep it straight and get back going here as we head back live. And it looks like Schwenkler might have taken lead as we're showing it on the leaderboard.
Yes, that's just happened. That pass has just gone on as we came back from the replay. So once this sorts out, we'll have to go back and show that pass as well, as Robert Schwenkler has found his way back on by Ashley Molyneux. And you know what? Sometimes people ask us why we don't check in with all the battles throughout the field. Well, we know there's tons of battles always happening throughout the field, but sometimes when we do, that's what happens. It's just so hard to cover all the battles on the racetrack. Got to try and catch the lead too, and sometimes, well, we miss it. That's one of the times we did, but Schwenkler's still got a mirror full. We can't go back and check that replay yet because who knows what's going to happen up the Rahal Straight.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, I mean, it can be tough to do here is, keeping an eye on all the battles, but right now this seems to be one of the best battles on the track here is for the lead with two really fast drivers here. Ashley Molyneux still trying to make a move here in the corkscrew, looking to throw it into the corner, just can't quite get it done there, makes it stick pretty well, actually gets a good drive off. Heading down here into turn 9. Gonna try again, both drivers kind of clipping the dirt just a little bit. Into turn 10, she's gonna back up her corner, try to get that run off. Not quite gonna work as she actually heads to pit road.
So we are expecting, I was about to mention, we are expecting likely a pit stop from everybody in the field if the pass is any kind of indicator. So Ashley Molyneux will come in and take service. Let's take a look back then as to how Ashley lost this race lead in the first place. It's going to happen a little ways back, and it looks like it's all going to get set up in turn 11. So Robert Schwenkler in behind. We'll watch this from his on board. Just a great run into the corner there, and I think that's got to be a missed shift from Ashley Molyneux. And she was even talking about how bad not how bad the gearbox is, but how tricky the gearbox is in the Miatas are. It looks like she's been caught out by the H pattern here in the Spec Racer Ford.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Just, and a little bit of contact there in turn 2, but not too serious. Yeah, I think that's definitely, that was definitely the issue there. And it can be, like we said, easy stuff like that can really cost you a position and the lead in Ashley's case. And she goes to pit road now, but we'll see if she's able to make that ground back up. I think, now might be the time that we're expecting pit stops.
And we're likely just expecting fuel on these pit stops as well. And based on Ashley's 12.8 second stop, I think that's even further validated that we're only going to see fuel in these stops, likely not tires. And these are kind of the late model or maybe the legend or street stock or something of road racing, right? Where you don't have specialized pit crews. You don't have pit crews that can go out there from a NASCAR team and change tires in 11 seconds. That's just not the reality in real life or in the sim. And as Lorel locks up into 11, very likely you don't have pit crews for these cars at all. They're likely going out there for a sprint race with no pit stops, maybe fuel, not likely tires. I don't expect tire changes in this race. I would imagine just fuel only.
Yeah, that would be my guess, is just taking fuel and heading back out there on the track. So Ashley is back on the track. She's 28 seconds back in the 6th position. And again, moving up through the field is Adam Thompson. Started 15th, up to 5th now, 16 seconds behind. Just about 10 laps into the race. Really a impressive drive through the field that he has made so far.
Well, we've just seen Bobby Ross start to go after Jerry DiPiero until he got hung up by this 420 right in front of him. And he gives a shot to Chet Duranick out of turn number 4. Bobby was all over Jerry DiPiero. We saw it there on the broadcast into the Andretti hairpin, and then just had nowhere to go in behind Chet Duranick. And I got to give it to Bobby Ross. He could have forced the issue. He could have really made his move and made it aggressively, but no, he waited for the right opportunity. He waited until the exit of turn number 4. Big props, a big fist bump, a big high five, something to Bobby Ross for being patient in using racecraft. Yeah,
definitely a good job by Bobby and using racecraft, like you said, being smart about it. That's one of the things that you really got to do, especially in road course racing. If you're going to be fast, that's one of the things you got to do. And good run for him so far. Currently running in the 4th position. Off the track a little bit, the 82 of Benavidez. Now here comes the 9 of Lopez, looking to take that 7th position. Looks like he's going to.
And does so without much issue, and Scott Benavidez goes off. Wow, that's one of the smallest incidents you can possibly have in that section of racetrack. That is luck, ladies and gentlemen, and he should go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah, that's definitely, compared to some of the other incidents I've seen in that corner, that's definitely one of the safest ones that I've seen there. Let's go take a look here at the replay, and I think he just clipped the dirt entering the corner, and that just upset his car. But let's take a look at it here going uphill. See, the 9 gets a run on him, gets clear, and I believe it was.
He braked on the curbing, and the curbing just got the car upset. And that's with a car this light, that's something you have to be careful of. We see it in Formula Racing, IndyCar racing sometimes, where a curb can just upset a race car. It's the same kind of thing. These cars are pretty well light, especially for their grip level. So you've got to be careful when you do brake on curbing like that. Of course, braking on grass is always a no-no. It doesn't matter how light or heavy the race car is, but any little thing that can disturb the car's weight when they are this light, this fickle, whatever you want to describe it like, well, that's going to give you some problems as Schwenkler they're going to come into the pit lane in that dangerous 235.
Yep, heading to pit road here right at the halfway point too. 11 laps down, 11 remain. Now we see Corvino is going to stay out and take the lead. And at this rate, Schwenkler should be able to make it to the end on fuel. And the thing that I'm wondering is, will Ashley be able to jump him?
He'll come into his box, and we will wait to see exactly how long this pit stop takes. Now, Ashley, I do believe, is leaving turn 11. Yes, and we've got a spin. Oh. This is Jimmy Howitt that's around. No, it's not. Who is that? That was Chet Duranick around in turn 11, at least on exit, while Jaden Darling goes for a spin. And up front, here's Ashley Molyneux now working into the Andretti hairpin, way ahead of Robert Schwenkler, who's just now leaving the pit stall, the pit lane. That's a difference of 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, so definitely a good job jumping Robert Schwenkler as he entered the pits by Ashley Molyneux, moving her up into 5th. Now just waiting on the top 4 to pit. Adam Thompson moving up into 4th, Ross 3rd, DiPiero in 2nd. Now Corvino is your new leader. This time by will be 10 to go. Just got to wonder when these guys will pit. Let's go take a look at the replay of those incidents here. And
we'll begin with Chet Duranick in the number 420 out of the Plains. And Chet's been having a little bit of a rough night. You can see that evidenced by his left front. He had kind of troubled Bobby Ross a little while ago. You see Molyneux in behind. So this all happened as Molyneux was coming through. And I think he's just going to get loose on the inside. That's exactly what happens. As somebody had just gotten back rolling up ahead. That was Robbie Larill, who had a problem in turn 11 just prior to that. But I want to see what then happens to Jaden Darling, if we can find that, as he came up and over the corkscrew. This is a big one. I can't tell you while this replay is up. Matthias Corvino, Jerry DiPiero, both in the pit lane. Matthias has just come into his box. We'll update you more on that after this little clip from Jaden Darling into the corkscrew. Does he just get loose? I would imagine a pretty squared entry, and the car just gets loose through compression, and that's so easy to have happen. Doesn't matter what road car it is, even the GT cars. In fact, that's one of the biggest things you have to adjust for the Daytona 24, for example, is how the car will compress and how the car will handle that compression through the bus stop, for example. It's the same thing here in the corkscrew with these little things. You've just got to watch out for that compression, and without the assist of TC, traction control, boy, it's a lot harder to deal with.
Really can be a tough thing to deal with. As we can see now, looks like Corvino has gone into the pits. Now that will move Bobby Ross to the race lead, Adam Thompson up to 2nd, and Ashley Molyneux in the 3rd position. This time by is going to be 9 laps to go. Now the question is, when will Bobby Ross pit? And I wonder if Ashley Molyneux is good to the end.
Well, Ashley's pretty calculated. Ashley would not have pitted if she didn't think she could go to the end, right? So she must have timed things out and got an idea of the fuel strategy, obviously. And I'm sure most of these drivers, if not all of them, have done so. Obviously, if we're still racing into lap 14, right, that means you're good for 14 laps. She's been on the racetrack for 4 laps. That would have put her pitting at roughly, I think, 14 to go, thereabouts. The math is kind of failing me. I think even 12 to go, something like that. So She's good on fuel. I think everybody, it's just a one-stop. It's a matter of when you come in, and that window was obviously pretty wide this evening. Anybody could have come in probably from around lap 8 or 9 and made it to the end, which that opens up hope for guys like Diego Lopez, who had to take that pit stop so early on. He might have to be a little careful on the field, maybe short shift a little bit, but he just might be good to the end if he filled up all the way.
I think you might be right, and with those calculations, Ashley, may have just pulled off a good strategy here. She's got about a 2, almost 3 second gap back to Robert Schwenkler. Right, you can see we are now on board with the number 9 machine, the Rusty's car of Lopez, currently running in the 6th position. And, like you said, if he can make it to the end, this could be a good opportunity for him to really pick up some spots.
And the big thing is, recovering from that incident is now Matthias Corvino going to bring the fight to Robert Schwenkler. This is a pairing that we haven't seen yet. We were getting ready to see this battle, I think, a little while ago before the problem with Matthias and Diego into turn 10. Now Matthias Corvino all over the back end of Robert Schwenkler. That was through the compression in turn 6 and up the Ray Hall straight to turn, 7, 8A, 8B, the corkscrew, of course, at Laguna Seca, the corner that makes this racetrack so famous. Into the entry and out the exit, and everything is pretty well orderly, but Corvino has a run.
Yep, heading down here into turn number 10. See what kind of move Corvino can make here. Tries to get around off the corner, can't quite do it. And now he might take a peek to the inside here in turn 11. Oh, he gets a good run there. Almost gets into the back of Schwenkler. That was really close. He really had to lock up the brakes to make sure he wouldn't hit him. And now there goes Ross to pit road. Ashley Molyneux going to take the lead back with 8 laps to go.
Adam Thompson in as well. We go back up to that battle for second place then. As it's all cycled out, 8 laps to go, that time by the flag stand. And boy, Matthias is all over the back end of Schwenkler. What I saw, though, in turn 11 that troubles me a little bit about Corvino's aggression is the way he moved into the braking zone. Now, he's braking a little bit earlier, at least into 3. So it looks like he's elongating that braking zone and braking a little bit more easily and transferring less weight at turn in, which is good. But the way he was moving around into turn 11 is a little bit scary as he now goes to the outside into turn 5. Took that big run, took that big energy around the top side of turn 5 now, but can he hold it? No, not quite.
Can't quite do it there. Schwenkler's going to hold on for a second. He took a little bit of a peek there, not going to make the move. That was a little, I think he realized, that would have been a little bit too aggressive. And the longer this battle goes on, the more Ashley Molyneux should be able to pull away with the lead. Right now, the lead is about 3.5 seconds. So the thing she wants to see is this battle continue. As now there goes Corvino to the inside, almost making contact with Schwenkler.
And Matthias, I think, realized it and backed off a little bit. He'll reassess that situation and get back to it here soon. They are not far back of Ashley Molyneux. The gap says 3 seconds, but the gap visually, she is only leaving turn 11. Here comes Robert Schwenkler, almost in the same frame. Yeah. So they are very, very close on the racetrack, but because of the slower speeds, they're 3 seconds apart as Matthias has a big run up the inside, drag race across the line, but Schwenkler ultimately loses that position before the hairpin.
And now you got to wonder if Corvino has the pace to close in on.
We've seen him go purple 2 or 3 times.
Right. So if he can start pulling away from Schwenkler now, look for him to potentially catch Ashley here in the closing laps of this race to have a shot at this victory. Wouldn't that be something if he can steal this away from the drivers that have been the 2 fastest ones all day? That would be pretty impressive if he can get it done.
Well, I think you got to change kind of how you define that. I think certainly he's been the fastest all day, but Ashley Molyneux and Robert Schwenkler have stayed mistake-free. And Matthias, really, his only mistake was when he had that incident with Diego Lopez. And obviously, you feel for Diego as he runs 4th a little ways back of these guys. But obviously, Matthias and Diego, they have got it figured out. And if you take over to the iRating, Because that actually, I'll be honest, decided the LTAC race Friday night. We had a rookie come into that race and absolutely dominate it because he had 2,000 more iRating than everybody else. He was just that much of a better driver, and there's no way to sugarcoat that. He was just good, and that was Andrew Navarro at Phoenix. This evening, though, we've got Matthias Corvino, 3,000 iRating higher than some of these guys. It's incredible. He's at a 4,200 almost. Ashley Molyneux's only at an 1839. You see Schwinkler spinning out of the final corner. To add to that conversation, he is at a 1590. We'll take a replay as to what happened to Schwinkler, but that just proves my point, I think, that there is a huge iRating gap between Matthias and some of these other drivers, and he's just gone purple again. It's incredible what he's doing. This is the spin for Schwinkler in turn 10.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened. Really unfortunate situation for Schwinkler. He just loses it. And I think that's going to be it for Schwinkler. That's probably going to take him out of contention for the win here tonight. As you can see, the number 9 has made his way, I believe, up into the 3rd position now. With just 6 laps remaining here from Laguna Seca. As you talked about, Corvino went purple. As now we can see here, we have a battle here for, I can't quite see.
Well, this is Adam Thompson on the inside, Mike Sorum on the outside, and that Pink Panther machine is starting to put some pressure on Adam. Now, we've talked a lot about all the happenings throughout this race so far, Hayes, but Adam Thompson is still the champion. He's got it well and locked up, has since we left Lime Rock. Actually, I think going into Lime Rock, he's had it locked up for a while. He's still out here racing, though he's in the 7th position with a big-time assault from Mike Sorum. That 69 car wants to get on by. They're going to run side by side, it looks like, up to turn 6. This usually doesn't work out, but who knows? It might almost contact, and Sorum, I think, is going to have the nod up the hill.
They were able to make it work, but Sorum did get a good run around Adam Thompson. And now heading into the corkscrew here, who's going to give? Neither of them do. Adam Thompson tried to put it up the inside, couldn't quite make it work. Now Sorum is going to get clear once again for the 7th position as we ride along here with Adam Thompson. He wants to try to get that spot back, but we know Sorum is pretty dang fast here, so we'll see if he can challenge him again for that position as they enter turn number 11, as they come around to just 4 laps to go.
As this all goes on, we've got to battle a lap down. This is Tyler Coates with company from Chet Duranick, and Jaden Darling isn't even far back. In fact, that's what this battle is. Chet Duranick with Jaden Darling in the mirror, and they're only a little ways back of Tyler Coates or so. So these guys starting to mix things up, but these two all over one another. This is for the 11th position. But as this even goes on, guess what else is developing? Matthias Corvino, he's got a lap car ahead. In fact, that's Scott Benavidez, who's had a couple of spins as of late. But this gap is dwindling. He's going to send it up the inside of Benavidez to the corkscrew, but that gap is down to just over a second to Molyneux. And with tires fading for everybody, you've got to be wondering how hard Molyneux is starting to worry and starting to push as a result.
Yeah, I tell you what here, if I'm Ashley, I'm going to be ready to do some mirror driving. I'm just going to try to see what I can do to hang on, but he is closing so far.
Oh, Corvino off!
Oh!
That changes the entire race.
It does.
He's going to get back on and doesn't lose too much time, amazingly, but he has lost at least a second and a half. We're going to wait for the gaps to continue to update. It looks like it's solidifying, about a 2.7 second gap now, but he has to get by Scott Benavidez all over again. You wonder if Benavidez will put up a fight. Maybe into turn 2, he does a little bit on the brakes and turns in. Corvino's there, side by side, and Corvino can't quite put him away. He's still on the outside of the 23 car. Scott Benavidez said, nope, I let you buy once already. You messed it up for yourself. Now you've got to earn it.
I tell you what, if he can get by Benavidez here pretty quickly, I don't think it's over just yet for him. If he can continue that pace again and try to close back in, he may have another shot at Molyneux, but that's exactly what Ashley wanted. She wanted him to make a mistake, and now she can feel a little. She has a little bit of breathing room now.
4.5 seconds. That's a lot of breathing room.
Right. So we'll see if Matthias has enough time to close that gap. He's going to need to really, really push hard now.
That's completely changed the game for everybody on this racetrack, I think, at least in the top running or so. Suddenly, if you're Diego Lopez, you've got to start pushing again. You were looking at a 7 or so second gap up to Matthias. Now it's only 4 seconds. Even Robert Schwenkler's got to get his rear end in gear, and well, literally and figuratively, because he's got company from Bobby Ross, actually. Let's take a look at this little battle as they head up the Rahal straight into the corkscrew for one of the final times, as Bobby Ross is just reeling this 235 in, and Schwenkler's either making a lot of mistakes or his tires are gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's really, having to fight hard here. He was in third, like we said, we saw him
Lopez in the pit lane. He could not make it.
And we might see... This should allow Schwenkler to get back up into that third position, and which will be good for him. So being able to get back up to that spot that he lost with that spin will definitely be good for Schwenkler, looking to just hang on to a podium here. But he does have Bobby Ross right behind him. Actually, here comes Bobby to the outside.
Yeah, that means this battle now is suddenly for a podium finish. Ross up the outside. Schwenkler squeezes him a little bit. And now they run nose to tail through the Andretti hairpin. All over one another on entry, though. There we go. And Ross kind of settles back down. He'll have to figure that one back out. It's tough to get by somebody here at Laguna Seca. But turn 2, the Andretti hairpin, is one of the best opportunities to do so. Now through turn 4, you can see the gap is opened up. The gap up front, though, for Matthias Corvino is starting to slowly start to shrink. We're 2.5 laps to go, and it's down to 3.5 seconds, so that's about a second a lap. I still just don't think he can get there. It's going to be close now, that's for sure. It's going to take a last-second move, even if he does catch Ashley.
Yeah, I think if he is able to catch Ashley, it's definitely going to come down to the final lap, potentially the final couple of corners. He is closing pretty quickly. I don't know if it's going to happen, man. He's got 2 laps to get it done, but we'll see if he can pull off a miracle here and take this win back after that mistake that he made. As now we can see here, we have a battle for 6th between Mike Sorum and Lopez here. Lopez trying to get up there and get by him to take that 6th position.
Diego Lopez all over Mike Sorum. This is after a pit stop for Diego. He took about 10 seconds in the pit lane. Probably could have taken a little bit less time, but wanting to make sure he's good on fuel, of course, and he's looking to get back by that 69 car. Of course, Diego was in 3rd position, drops to 7th, could still get up into 6th right here if he can make this pass, as they have worked well away from Adam Thompson, who recently had to come back down the pit lane. There you see him in his 244 car. That gap up ahead, though, it continues to work down. It's now down to just 2 seconds and closing.
Yep, he's already closed by almost a second, about a second now from when we last checked. So he is closing really fast on Ashley. I don't think he's done yet. If he continues closing at this pace, I think he can get to her somewhere around the last lap. This isn't over yet.
He's made up what he needed to for me to admit that I think he's still got a shot to get there and battle on the back end of the white flag lap, but he's still got a ways to go. I think he's got to make at least another second up before he's in battle range. You can see he's even starting to struggle for grip. Washes out wide in turn 9, now through 10, and he is just struggling to point that car in the right direction, even gets himself a little bit of dirt on the outside of 10, but he's just so much better in the braking zones, even jumps on that anti-cut. It's an anti-cut, and he still cuts it right there. It's incredible, the assault that the 23 is putting on this 45 right now. White flag, 1 lap to go. Ashley Molyneux has got her work cut out for her. Lap car up ahead, that's Jaden Darling.
Ashley's been able to hang on to the lead for most of this race.
Matthias Corvino off in the Andretti hairpin!
Oh, no! That is going to be it for him. I don't know how that happened.
He's trying to refire the car. And, I mean, I think the dejection is clear. I think that's frustration. He easily could have gotten this car refired at this point. He's just sitting there. He is not happy with that one, that's for sure. Here comes Robert Schwenkler. He will go on by. He'll take second place. Matthias Corvino still sitting there. Jerry DiPiero, he will come on by. Now Matthias fires it up, and he will get rolling. Up ahead, already towards turn 6, Ashley Molyneux has 23 seconds now, but that metric will not tell the entire story. The numbers this evening will only tell a fraction of it. It was tightly contested through and through, whether it was Robert Schwenkler on this 45 car or it was Matthias Corvino. All the way through this race, Ashley Molyneux had to worry about somebody, had to battle somebody, had to make sure she was perfect all race long. We've not seen a single misstep. We've not seen a single miscommunication. Came in early, undercut, took the right amount of fuel, got back out there, and quite simply has not looked back, even when the gap was down to about a second or less. Twice Matthias Corvino got up to the 45, and twice Matthias Corvino made a mistake, all while Ashley Molyneux remained unwavered in her strength this evening, and Ashley Molyneux, in her first start in Cross Series League Racing competition, wins at Laguna Seca.
Great race, great drive by Ashley Molyneux, bringing home the win here tonight. As you can see a little further back here, Robert Schwenkler is going to be able to hang on. He stayed in the top two pretty much the entire, first half, I'd say, of the race. Spun out there and fell back to fourth, but he's going to make his way back up into the second position. Jerry DiPiero, they're going to finish in third.
We've just seen this pass. Diego Lopez has just gotten up to and passed Matthias Corvino, and they slow down. I think Diego maybe wanted to give that up to Matthias. I'm not sure, but they cross the line 4th and 5th. Mike Sorum will come out of turn 11. Oh, I think he's out of fuel. He did have one of the longer stints to the end, 16 laps, and that car is sputtering. You might be able to hear it on the broadcast. That car is sputtering up to the line. He does finish the race just barely in the 6th position. Bobby Ross comes through in 7th and will give Mike a push. The Pink Panther. Wow, a fantastic finish once again. Look at that push. You can't push on the final lap, but it is after the final lap, and Bobby gave a little nudge there. Adam Thompson, though. How about the season he's had? A championship winning season through and through. Never really could be touched, even if sometimes he didn't have the race win in his grasp. Adam Thompson was always there. He was always a piece of conversation. And out of the final corner, Adam Thompson... Did he just blow the motor? I think he's just blown the motor. You're kidding me.
Oh, no.
Go back to Circuit de Spa, where he crashed the car in victory formation out of the final corner, and Ashley Molyneux is going to, in her first start in the series, in her first win, give the old champ a push. Well, she was going to help him cross the line. I was going to tell you, that was going to look like cars.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to get to the line.
Okay, he gets rolling again. He gets rolling again.
Oh.
He finished on the lead lap. He hadn't quite crossed. I don't know what he's waiting on here.
Not really sure what he's doing.
Anyhow, all in all, the race does come to a close. The season comes to a close, and we've got post-race just up ahead. Make sure you stick around for it. There's a lot to work through here this evening from WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. The party's just getting started because the party is going to last all night long with this guy, Adam Thompson, officially claiming the Cross Series League Racing Championship here in Season 1. He puts the car in the pit wall, but it doesn't matter. You don't need it to look good anymore. He's going to do burnouts. He's going to celebrate here at Laguna Seca. Congratulations to race winner Ashley Molyneux as well. You see they're going to bash across the start-finish line, all in celebration at this point. Congratulations once again to Molyneux and to Thompson in his victory, in his championship. We'll be back to you momentarily from WeatherTech Raceway. There we go, Laguna Seca, with continuing coverage of XSLR.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to the virtual WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. No matter how many times I think through WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, I can't get the old name out of my head. You see it right there, Mazda Raceway, but it is now WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, located just a little ways away from places like Pebble Beach, just a little ways away from, of course, the Bay Area, and just off the coast. It is a fantastic little area, fantastic scenic area. Definitely, I think a bucket list item for myself, and it should be for many people, I would say, especially if you're into road racing, into sports car racing. A fantastic place. Before we go any further, though, I want to open this up by just saying congratulations once more to Ashley Molyneux in a fantastic battle to the end. I've never seen something quite like that, where somebody keeps closing, makes a mistake. Then they close back up, they almost get to you, they make a mistake. And I can only imagine the heart rate for Ashley in those closing laps, but I can also only imagine the heart rate for Adam Thompson throughout this season, especially as he hit kind of a mid-season slump. And Adam Thompson, boy, these wins, they were coming to you all when there was so much less competition. What happened out there? I gotta say, though, before you respond to that, I do want to say congratulations on a fantastic season. I talked about it earlier on. It doesn't matter who you're racing against. You can be racing against yourself. The fact that you won almost half of the races this season is incredible. That consistency, no matter who you're racing against, is something to be spoken for. Again, it could be a two-car race. Not that it was, but it could be a two-car race, and that deserves tons of recognition.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. No, these the whole season has been great. I can't even put it into words, man. We started this out with 3 guys in December, and we've got on average 12 to 16, 17 guys that are racing with us every week, and it's been a blast all season. We've had a great time. I'm lucky enough to have. I honestly think what had happened in the middle of the season is I started practicing more. And towards the end, we had more league stuff come up, getting ready for season 2, so I wasn't able to practice as much. But nonetheless, man, this has just been so much fun all season.
And let's talk about that league owner side for a moment before we get to more of your championship stuff, right? So you mentioned season 2 coming up, and I think this is something that a lot of people forget. And this is true for NASCAR, this is true for Formula 1, this is true for IndyCar. It doesn't matter the motorsport, and even I think in stick and ball sports, the preparation is year-round. It never really stops. Unless you give yourself probably 9 months or so before seasons, it never really stops. You're not even done with this season before you guys are preparing. Tell us what it's like as a league owner as you're trying to prep for stuff like that.
Well, no, it really doesn't. I mean, all season we've been, I mean, especially as a new league, what we've got right now is we're trying to get more people in here for broadcasts and just for racing and for sponsorships. Like you mentioned, F1, NASCAR, everything that we do, even in a virtual setting compared to real life, we can't get broadcasts and we can't get the money to pay out our drivers at the end of the season without sponsorships. So as admins, me, Rob, James, and Chet, we've been working nonstop to get the sponsorships to cover next season, and it's just painting cars for everybody for next season. Setting up the schedule, making sure we've got the schedule right, making sure we've got fuel percentages right, making sure we fall within an hour time slot. It's just a lot, and it's not just me. Thank God I've got 4 guys that help me out as much as they do, because there's no way I could do this myself. But at the same time, we've all been working our asses off for the last 2 weeks to get everything ready for next season, and it's just it's part of the grind. But I wouldn't have it any other way. This is by far. I've run 2 leagues now, and this is my second attempt, and this is by far my best attempt at running a league, and I don't see us going anywhere. And thank you to everybody in the league that has made this possible. It's been an absolute blast, guys. It really has, and you guys as well. Andrew, Hayes, Trey, JP, everybody who's been part of this all season with PitStop. It's you guys. This is just amazing. It's so cool to see.
And I'll ask you to do the hat dance here. Take the league owner cap off, driver cap back on. You could say helmet back on, I suppose. It was a hectic race out there. It was a tough car track combination. I heard you guys talk about it throughout the week. Even last weekend preparing for this race, it was tough through and through. How did you approach it? Knowing you had 2 races of points, you didn't really have to come out here and stress about it, but I'm sure you still put practice in. I know you put practice in. And how did you attack this evening?
Well, Andrew, I'm going to be honest with you. On Wednesday, I was running 143s. Last night, I was running 142s and spinning out every corner. I just could not get the car figured out. And then something clicked. I think I started following people throughout our practice session and our warm-up session before the race started. And I was able to pop into the 141s. And then I was able to mostly keep it on the track during the race. I had a little bit of a mistake there at the end, and maybe or maybe not, Mike might have booted me off the track a little bit, but no, it was these cars take a lot of practice. And even though everyone that's watching this stream is probably like, man, these cars are slow, God, if you want a challenge, get in one of these things. They're so tough, that they're so unstable all the time. Off throttle oversteer is ridiculous. On throttle understeer is damn near untamable. They're extremely tough cars to drive.
Absolutely. Only 105 horsepower, but boy, they will whip a young driver into shape. It is part of the way of working your way up in the road racing ladder. So certainly, I think a fantastic little, maybe not rookie car, but a few steps there above. I do got to ask about this paint scheme, though. Definitely special. You got pictures all along the side. Tell us about it.
Well, so so knowing that I was getting broadcasted and knowing that our league we're starting to get a little more coverage, everybody on that car that you've seen, to my girlfriend's parents, Teresa and Mike, my grandparents, Dave and Donna, my uncle Drew, my parents, John and Jennifer, I mean, our dog Lewis, of course, my best friend Keegan there on the front on the hood. I just wanted to kind of show my appreciation in the best way I knew how, without getting choked up. No, thank you guys for everything you all have done for me throughout my whole life. To get me to where I am today is if you would have talked to me 7.5, 8 years ago, I was pretty down. So all those people on the car have gotten me back to a point where I can be confident in myself again. And no, thank you guys, everybody that was pictured on that car. Thank you so much.
Certainly a meaningful paint scheme then, and a very meaningful race this evening as we wrap things up. I want to mention again, congratulations so much to you on a championship this season. You've already listed a lot of people that you have to thank, but I'll give you the floor one last time in case there's anybody else.
Well, I forgot to mention Rob, who was also on that car. He made a trip out to Arizona about a month and a half ago, and we did some off-road and had a good time. But Rob Schwenkler, bar none, the best other admin that I could have ever asked for, and a great friend as well. At this point, has done so much for this league that I haven't been able to do because of work schedules and stuff like that. The other admins as well. Man, oh geez, all of our sponsors, Nexus Fab, who is sponsoring us again for next season. Jimmy Howard is going to sponsor us for next season. Baker Steel Detailing, thank you so much, Chris, for sponsoring us this season. James Truitt with Acer Engines, Chet Duranik with Crohn's and Colitis. I know I probably missed a few. Jaden Darling with Tamalpais Tanning Company, and Robbie Larill have also sponsored us. We cannot do any of this without you guys. I really hope you guys understand that. We can't do any of it. So thank you so much. And last but not least, Andrew, what you've done for us this season is incredible. Thank you so much for everything.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And again, I want to turn things back over to you. I think you deserve the congratulations. You deserve the pat on the back. You've done a lot for this league, even just in the time that we've been here, and of course for many months leading up to it. So congratulate yourself, both as a driver and a league owner this season. It was a fun one. It was good to be here, and it was good to see the evolution of the league, even just while we were here, even though we came in mid-season. It was a lot to take in, a lot to watch, and a fun one to be a part of. And with that, once again, I want to give you congratulations. I want to urge you to have a heck of a time partying this one out this evening. You deserve it, buddy, and we'll catch up with you a little later on.
Well, I'm telling you what, it's going to be a heck of a party over at my grandparents' house in Glendale, Arizona, if anybody wants to come over. So,
I think I get there just a few from North Carolina.
I'll buy a plane ticket.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thank you so much again for everything you've done, and I think you got some other drivers to interview, Andrew, so I'll get out of your hair, man.
Yes, sir. Again, thank you so much for your time this evening and all season long, and congratulations on the championship, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
Adam Thompson wraps things up from WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. A bit of a home race. You know, it's out on the West Coast. Not quite like Phoenix was in his back door back for the dirt road section, but pretty close nonetheless. With our champion then out of the way, I got to turn things over to Hayes Booth with our race winner. This was a fantastic one this evening. I'm sure she's got a lot to talk about.
Ready. And I am up down here with Ashley Molyneux, your race winner here tonight. Ashley, you got a copy?
I do indeed, Hayes. How are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. So, first start in the league, I said in the race, if I had to pick one, or at the beginning of the race, if I had to pick one person to watch for, it was going to be you. Just, you've said you really like these road courses. You're starting to become a pretty talented road course racer. So, how does it feel to bring home the win in your first race tonight?
Firstly, I'm flattered by that, Hayes, so thank you. But, it feels awesome. I mean, I went into this after watching the series for a few weeks, right? And seeing practice times and then qualifying, because Robert clapped us in qualifying. He was, I think, half a second faster than I was, something like that. Yeah, you ran a 2:30. I did a 7:03. And I was thinking this is going to be a race for second. But then we had, 5 laps of some of the best battling I've ever had on iRacing. That was so much fun. I think that helps make it a lot more satisfying, too, But it's good to join into a new league and find that you can really trust the people you're racing around. It makes it more satisfying to actually do well.
Absolutely. So, I got to ask, how we've been talking about the handling of these cars, throughout the whole race. So, you did a really good job of driving it, but, how did it handle for you? How much of a handful was it?
Once I understood the quirks of the car, mainly how odd it is under braking and the peculiarities for turn in, I thought it was kind of comfortable. I mean, it's on a razor's edge, and it's extremely sensitive to your line, and particularly how you take the entry of the corner. So if you miss the corner just a little bit, if you try to steer it back into it and oversteer onto it, you'll tend to unstable, make the rear lose some stability a little bit. Or you'll just go straight. So you just kind of have to ride out whatever mistaken entry that you make. Additionally, to really get it to turn, you kind of have to lean on the brakes slightly. It's a lot like the ARCA cars. truthfully, on road courses, that was resolving a lot of a stiff condition that it seemed to have in the front end, where it didn't really want to plant itself. So you could kind of use the rear of the car to guide it. But it was super, super easy to make mistakes. I'm not surprised we were seeing the quantity of those that we did. Would have been surprised if we saw fewer, truthfully.
Yeah, I got you. So, with the win tonight, we hope to see you back here next season. Definitely feel confident that you can show more pace. But finally, do you have any shout-outs or thank yous you want to give for this win tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting this, and I mean in particular because that got me into the league. I wouldn't have known about them if I didn't see it was specifically the IRL one at Monza was the first race I saw, and that's what got me interested into it. Initially thinking it was an IRL one league, and then realized it's not. But look at the rest of it, thought it looked fun, so I was able to get in on that. So thank you guys for that. I want to thank everyone here for allowing me in and accepting me well and treating me well, all that sorts of fun stuff. Thanks, Robert, for a fun battle. And as usual, I have to thank my mom. She doesn't care about this stuff at all, but I told her that I thank her in every interview, and she liked that.
All right, Ashley. Well, I'll let you go here. Go celebrate this victory, and we hope to see you back next season.
Oh, you absolutely will. Catch you later, y'all.
Ashley Molina wraps things up this evening from the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Certainly a hard-earned victory. Hayes, you talked about it a good bit there with her, and it was tough for her to hang on. And I wondered if she was even watching the mirrors when Matthias got to her a couple of times. There was a lot to see from her mirror. But we turn things then to somebody she mentioned in that interview quite a bit, Robert Schwenkler. He won last week at Summit Point in the Miatas. But Robert, very different cars this evening, very different racetrack. How'd you cope?
Man, these cars are such a handful. It took a lot of practice this week to get to grips with it. I was just happy to get up on the podium, man. There at the end, my tires were gone. As you guys saw, I spun out twice trying to catch the guys in front. Got a little lucky there at the end. I think Corvino spun out in Andretti hairpin. So, luck on my side. Glad to grab P2.
So obviously you guys mix up cars across all kinds of racetracks, and not just all kinds of racetrack, but all kinds of cars, okay? It's a big mixing bowl. Would you run this car again on some of these fantastic road courses across the service? Would you run these cars again? Because they looked like a handful this evening, and they may have only had 105 horsepower, but I'll be darned if it wasn't one of the most exciting races all season.
I think just for the excitement factor, I would definitely run it. I think this was some of the best racing all season. So just for that fact alone, I would definitely be down to run them again.
And on a season perspective, there was a lot of battling through and through, and even with you and Mike Storm, we don't even know how things are going to sort out for that points position yet. We'll have to wait and see when it's all tabulated. But it came down to the last couple of races for you guys, even though Adam kind of checked out, let's be honest. But what was the battle like with you guys, and what was the approach like to every single race, keeping that in the back of your mind?
See, I was just trying to stay as consistent as possible. I didn't want to push too hard, but I knew I had the pace to be at the front. So I just, my game plan was always just try to stay up at the front and be as consistent, because consistency seems to be the name of the game in this league right now. So yeah, that was just my approach. And for the record, I tabulated it real quick, and the top 5 in the championship are Adam, myself, Mike, Jerry, and James.
So there you go. Robert Schwenkler gets that position.
You heard it here first.
Well, thank you so much for that update. That's actually really big. We'll have to get an update of the full standings out on social media this week. But I do want to say congratulations on getting second place in the standings, getting second place this evening. It wasn't always looking like it was going to be that way, but you were able to stay consistent, not just this season, but in this race, and capitalize on some others' mistakes to keep yourself up there. Who do you have to thank for a season round and a season done and dusted? Who makes it happen for you?
I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the league. They've been awesome all season long. We couldn't do this without those guys. So huge thanks to everybody for sticking around and giving us some great racing. Likewise, our sponsors, we couldn't have done a lot of this without them. Lake Town Creations, Nexus Fab, Dangerous, Baker Steel Detailing, Acer Engines, all those guys. And big shout out to you guys. Your coverage has been great all season. So thank you so much for all you guys have done.
And thank you so much for the fantastic battles and the fantastic work you put in with the league as well. It's been a fun one this season, Robert. And man, I gotta say, congratulations once again for sticking through it. Hey, I always admire, be it on a race scale or even the scale of a full season, I always admire when people stick through a race no matter what kind of adversity along with a season. And while sure he may have been tied into it a little bit with Adam probably keeping the reins a little bit close, it's always cool to see somebody actually stick through a full season, because I'll be honest, fewer people do it than you might think here on iRacing, and it's really special when you have a league of guys who commit fully. So I do want to give that shout out not only to yourself, but everybody else throughout the series who, no matter when they came in, stuck through it until, well, this, I think, fantastic end of the season. So congratulations to you and everybody else who stuck through. Congratulations to you on the second place this evening and the championship, and I can't wait to talk to you some more.
All right, thanks so much, Hitcher.
Robert Schwenkler wraps things up from the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. And again, I just want to highlight that point once more of how important it is to stick through with the league and stick through with a race. Doesn't matter if you get down, and I'll be honest, I've seen you stick through some races there in the Nork iRacing series, Hayes, and I always admire that. When somebody's down, they're never out, and it's always worth sticking through a race and seeing what you can get out of it. Same for a season. Schwenkler did that, came down to the final race, he got that position, and that's huge. I think that is huge.
Yeah, it absolutely is here. So, I believe we have one more interview here. Yes, we do. Third place finisher here, Jerry DiPiero. Jerry, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, man. So you bring home a podium finish here tonight. Started third, finished third. So, didn't lose any spots, didn't gain any spots, unfortunately, but you still hung on to get a podium finish. So, overall, how would you say your race went for you?
Well, considering I didn't make the race last week, this was pretty good. I just kept it steady. I knew that those guys were so much faster, and I just kept it steady. That was about it. No mistakes. And that kept me in third.
Yeah, for sure. So, we talked to a few of the other guys, and they said, these cars are definitely handfuls, but, with how you were driving it, how would you say the thing drove for you?
Well, that's the thing. You have to know where to brake with these cars. It's very difficult. If you overbrake them, you will spin out. And we started the cars with lower fuel. That was even made it lighter. So that was really difficult.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, now we head into the off season, but what are your expectations going to be, and what are your plans heading into season 2?
Season 2 should be interesting. I mean, I'm not strong at the dirt ovals. I'm pretty good at the other ones, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Going to try to recruit as many people as we can. The more the merrier. Oh, we'll see.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, finally, do you have any shout-outs or thank yous you want to give for this third place finish and the season overall?
Yes, I want to give a big shout-out to all the sponsors that helped us out the whole year. You guys, thanks for everything. The admins for doing their part. And we're looking for next season. We're going to do good stuff.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. But congratulations on this third place finish, man. We look forward to seeing you next season.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jerry DiPiero there on the back end of a podium finish here in the final race in Cross Series League Racing. Hayes, what do you say we take a look at our final, unofficial for now, race results this evening from the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, race 16 of 16. And boy, was it a dandy. Ashley Molyneux, I said this earlier, 21-second gap to Robert Schwenkler. That stat alone does not tell the whole story. It came down to matters of tenths of a second between Ashley Molyneux and Matthias Corvino before Matthias made a couple of mistakes there at the end and gave up a couple of shots at the race win. But it was a fantastic drive nonetheless from the lightning quick Matthias Corvino. He may not have been in that Lightning McQueen paint scheme like Diego Lopez, but I'll tell you what, Lopez was quick too. They come up behind, though, First, Ashley Molyneux, second, Robert Schwenkler, and third, Jerry DiPiero, all of whom we spoke with this evening. I mentioned Diego Lopez there in fourth, Matthias Corvino there in fifth. To finish up the top half of the running order, you get Mike Sorum there in sixth. He ends up losing second place in the championship, but still third place overall, with Bobby Ross netting a top 10 in the standings, and Adam Thompson, well, taking his championship.
Yep, Adam being, the first one. A lap down there in 8th here. As you can see, Scott Benavides there in 9th. Tyler Coates going to round out the top 10. And we take a look here at the final 6 drivers in the field. Jaden Darling there finishing in 11th, the number 420 of Chet Duranic. In 12th, Robbie Larill will finish in 13th. 5 laps down, then 13 laps down, we have Jimmy Howitt there in 14th. James Truitt coming home in 15th. And I don't believe Danny Chandler started the race 23 laps down, scoring him, will finish in 16th.
So as we get a fantastic close-up here of the Ashley Molyneux machine, once again, got to give a big shout-out to the partners here at Cross Series League Racing, Nexus Fab, Tamalpais Tanning, Dangerous, Allied Esports Racing Series, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, Baker Steel Detailing, Acer Engine Supply, and Lake Town Creations. Like Adam and Robert mentioned so eloquently, so emphatically, these people make it happen. And we talk about it every single week. These leagues simply are not possible without their partners. It doesn't matter if it's BRP, it doesn't matter if it's NORC, it doesn't matter who it is. These leagues are only possible with the help of these fantastic partners.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really no league can be run without help from multiple people coming together and really getting their ideas, and just overall the help of sponsors like these guys, and it really shows the community that we have here.
Absolutely. Now, if you are still interested in partnering up with Cross Series League Racing, you can hit us up at you can email me directly at andrew@pitstoptv.com, and I'll point you in the right direction. I'll get you Adam and Robert's info, unless they want to put that in the stream chat or something. I will make sure you're directed in the right place there to partner up with Cross Series League Racing, XSLR for short. It's been a fantastic season. Again, I want to thank them so much for having us along for it. We also got to thank these guys at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You provide the image you want. They will custom create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV on the way out to get 10% off of your order today. I keep mentioning Father's Day is around the corner. This could be a fantastic wall piece. It could be of, I don't know, if he used to be a race car driver back in the day. Could be a picture of one of his wins way back when. Maybe one of his old cars, one of his old classic cars. Who knows what it could be. But you can make Father's Day rather special with Tucson Sound Art. By all means, check them out at TucsonSoundArt.com today. Now, Dad might not appreciate, well, I'm sure he'd appreciate in some level a race pace setup, even if he doesn't know what iRacing is. But hey, maybe your dad is on iRacing with you. You want to get him some setups to help him out on the road side of iRacing. You can do so, possibly, at Race Pace Setups. Depends on what your dad is into, possibly, I guess on the sim. But check him out, Race Pace Setups. That Discord link bottom right will help you find them. And, of course, a big shout out to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. And you know what? Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine is more... It's not just for the moms out there, the sisters, or what have you. My grandfather, actually, he got a cryo treatment very recently at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. Kind of helps brighten the face up a little bit. It helps. It's not just for the ladies. It can also be for the gentlemen. So, hey, if you're out in the state of Maine, maybe that's going to work out. Help them get into summer physique, possibly. Everybody wants to look their best in the summer months, so, I mean, that could be in the running, possibly. PermanentMakeupInMaine.com. Check them out. Of course, we also got to give a big shout-out to Whiplash Media, the official broadcast camera and graphic provider of PitStop TV, and BAM Racing, videos by a race fan for the racing community. I believe he was at Mount Lawn Speedway this evening. I could be mistaken. If it wasn't this evening, he was there yesterday evening, I believe. But regardless, a big shout out to BAM Racing Videos. As we close up on not just a fantastic race here at Laguna Seca, Hayes, I gotta ask you, final thoughts on the season as a whole. I know you weren't here for all of it, but boy, it was a wild ride nonetheless.
Yeah, it really was, and I think it definitely. I was kind of questioning, when I first found out about the league, I kind of questioned it. I don't know how well can a league really manage itself? How well can the owners really manage it? With how many changes are made, the different tracks, the different cars that they run through. How are they able to really manage this? How are the drivers able to, manage themselves and their driving style with all the changes that happen throughout the season? But I was pleasantly surprised to see the great show that these drivers were able to put on throughout the entire season, the great racing that we saw, the talent that was displayed throughout the season, especially, by guys like Adam Thompson, won, 7 races on the season, dominated, and took home the championship. It shows the skill level that a lot of these drivers have. And I tell you what, I think that next season is going to be just as good, if not better.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see how things shake out for Season 2 just over the hill. It's just a month or so away. I believe July 11th is their target date to get Season 2 started up for. But that will do it this evening and this season with our coverage here at PitStop TV of Cross Series League Racing. PitStop TV, thanks to you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel stays active weekly, and you can catch tons of racing throughout the coming days. Tomorrow night, we've got a doubleheader as per usual. On Monday nights, we've got the BRP iRacing Series Pro Dirt Late Models at Bristol Motor Speedway. Then, the Pacific Challenge Cup Series takes out those Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars to Michelin Raceway at Road Atlanta. So a couple of races in the States for those guys, actually, to finish things up. They'll be right back here in just a little over a week as well. So, that's going to be fun, I think, in Pacific Challenge. I can't wait to see how that shakes out. Tuesday night, though, we begin a doubleheader. We've got the Indianapolis 1000 this week. Not just the Indianapolis 500, the Indianapolis 1000. 2 back-to-back Indianapolis 500s. If you want to see IndyCar racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, well, this is your week to do it. And not only do you get to get the NORC Indianapolis 500 on Tuesday, not only do you get the IRL Indianapolis 500 on Wednesday, but of course then you double it up, triple it up with the Indianapolis 500, literally the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. You could watch 1,500 miles of action at Indianapolis this week, and you can only do so here on PitStop TV. Of course, we won't have the coverage then of the proper Indianapolis 500 later on Sunday, but the first 1,000 miles of that 1,500 you can only find here on PitStop TV. Make sure you're here for it. The NORC iRacing Series, they do it on Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Then IRL, they will do it on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You'll want to be here May 25th and May 26th for the Indianapolis 1000, as we're calling it here on PitStop TV. It's going to be fun. And Hayes, you're in that NORC iRacing Series. Are you going to run Tuesday? Have you been prepping for it?
I have, yeah. It's definitely, I'm a little nervous, not going to lie, but definitely should be a fun race. We'll see if we can get it done.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to put Trey Shuttlesworth on the spot, but, he is racing on Wednesday in the IRL Indy 500, but he's coming down off of his COVID-19 vaccine, and I want to thank him for being a trooper here this evening. I'm not going to put him on the spot like that, but you can catch Hayes Booth on Tuesday in the NORC iRacing Series. On all Tuesdays in the NORC iRacing Series, but this week at Indianapolis in an IndyCar, and then Trey Shuttlesworth on Wednesday at Indianapolis in an IndyCar, along with our very own Trey Patton in the IRL Indianapolis 500, and our very own Corey Rexford in that race as well. I think you're looking for numbers 03 for Corey, number 19 for Trey Shuttlesworth, and number 66 for Trey Patton. It will be tons of fun. And of course, you're in the number 11, Hayes, on Tuesday. So that's who you're looking for in each of those races. Make sure you're here on PitStop TV for it. But in the meantime, make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV this evening, myself and Hayes Booth on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on our social media coverage, being a trooper as always. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening, and we will see you next time. Have a fantastic evening.